Roundtable podcast. I'm my boy Corey G at Small Arms Day. Nope. Psych. Tyler Sealover at Trey Speed in the graphic gangster himself, Cole Susak. We're the Roundtable, brought to you by MaxNeverMuscle.com. What's up, fellas?
What's up?
How we doing? Tyler, you ain't been on in a little while.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. I'm glad to be here.
It is a beautiful day. So probably, less than 2 minutes ago, you didn't even know you were on today.
No, I didn't. I got told, sit down.
I like that, on the fly. That's
how we roll around here.
It is. And I think that's a good mini topic to start with.
Yeah.
Being comfortable to do something like that becomes almost the norm, which was not norm when you first walked in here, but is the norm now. And that's what people realize when they start hanging around here. All of a sudden there could be a camera. Like I just walked in and did a promo real quick, and I just looked out of the corner of my eye and I saw Cole just move his desk because he knew the camera was coming in.
I know. I always know.
Yeah, he was like, I saw him go,
Yep.
All right, I know G's coming this way next. Trey's on the beanbag. He's like, I'm sure it's coming this way. I'm wearing a hat talking about being George Washington's friend. I mean, I knew it was going to happen.
Shout out George.
Yeah, what up, George? 17.76%.
Yeah.
We couldn't get 69 in there, but
no.
I mean, we could have, but it wouldn't have made any sense.
I think I suggested something about 69.
It's like 17.69%. Is that?
Makes sense.
I can't remember exactly the context.
We might have to do that at some point, though.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, it does make sense to you.
Yeah.
So, but I think the deal concept and just like the camera and on the fly, it all kind of works together in like that creativity flow.
For sure.
It's the vibe
around here.
Yeah,
it keeps things very exciting.
Yeah, it does. You just never know.
It
brightens your day right like that.
It also makes you get everything ready to hop into these unexpected things.
Any and everything. Keeps you young.
At all times.
I remember Anthony, that was Anthony Oliveira, shout out, no free shout outs, but what up, Anthony? That when he was like, yeah, that's the one thing about coming to your joint. I just know someone could run up on me with a camera at any time.
Facts.
And he's like, so he thinks of that when he comes here. That's funny to me. Like, I don't obviously think about that stuff, but that's like something that goes through his mind as he's walking in the door. That probably is more likely than not going to happen.
Yeah.
He's in a promo. We made him do that photo shoot the one time.
Yeah, it's facts. He did the rap star photo shoot to Nipsey.
He did good.
Yeah, he did great.
It was good.
That's funny.
For his documentary thing.
Yeah,
that was tight.
which that'll be tight when that comes out.
Yeah.
Tyler, talk about that transition though. Like that's not your norm. No,
Yeah.
Although you're a really good actor, so maybe it is your norm. No one's really brought it out of you yet.
Yeah, maybe that's a little bit more of what it was. But yeah, I mean, if we're looking at just the previous work environment before coming here and joining the team in full force, it wasn't necessarily. It was a bit more routine, always structure. You knew protocol, and that was what was expected. But I understood kind of earlier on in life, and especially how it could apply here now, that the better that you do get adjusted to just being able to say, even though we may not have been planning to do X, Y, Z, but if you're able to transition, the quicker you're able to be okay with that and just move with the flow of things and understand that that's what you have to do now, the better it is.
Yeah. You think, so me and Rachel have had this talk a lot, that she thinks a lot of that ability is sometimes personality driven, that like it's not, and I don't think it's natural for a lot of people, but you get more accustomed to it. So her and AG kind of operate that same way. And it's like when something's sprung on them, they process, so they might not even answer the right way, or it might come off worse than it's supposed to because they're like caught up so off guard. It's like their brain doesn't go, and I don't know if you just get better at that. So is that how because you're so organized, so that's why I feel like I'm so different than you. That's why I like to ask you questions. Do you feel like that's how yours would process maybe previously, and now you've just like gave up and just be like, I'll just be fine because I'll just you know what I'm trying to ask?
Yeah, I think so. And I think in my own, you mentioned that there's differences between personalities, and I would agree. But I think in my own way, that I do and can operate that way. To be like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to be mad that something that just came up and we got to change. We got to transition different direction. That's fine. And I think what kind of the point Cole said is, if you stay organized somewhat or prepared and have your stuff up front ready to go enough anyway, then you're not really super caught off guard anyway when the day takes you this way when you thought it was maybe going here. You know what I mean? But you to mention the different personalities and how it's driven and relating that back to your family, I couldn't agree more. know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was just having conversations like this just yesterday with my fiance about and about certain things, and recognizing that what you just described is what was going on. It's like, okay, there's more to understand than what's really being said here at the surface level, and it requires nuance to say, okay, we're talking about this, and here's the words that are being used, and the conversation seems to be about, you know, this topic of discussion, but recognizing that there's more going on.
Way more.
Than what, you know what I mean? And having to respect that and trying to, you know, navigate that not everybody operates the same way, and say, oh, okay, I know what I'm trying to convey message-wise, but it may not be being received that way. And so you got to try to shape that conversation out of respect as best you can, but I mean, if it's just how you operate, then
I've had to have Rachel explain things like that to me. She's like, no, like, this is very second nature because of how you operate. This is not second nature for my personality. I know that because I've been dealing with you for so long. And she's like, this is where AG's more like me. And so she's like, she can explain it better than I can explain because I can't identify all the way. You know what I mean? And so I think that's what I think, though, when people, Nick's a great example, right? Super quiet dude. I thought like a huge breakthrough for him is when he did the air guitar back in the day because he just let loose.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'll never forget that because he was an intern and then he like went in and I was like, ooh, that's like, it's little, but it's like, that's a little growth because then it's like, all right, I just said, fuck it.
Yeah, gotta go do this thing.
Yeah.
It's also a lot of us. Like, we push each other to,
to
really break through the shell.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
we definitely pushed Danny, obviously, to break through his shell. It was literally
He's
over
broken
a year.
through currently,
it was
I would say.
like, close to a year of me basically asking him on every podcast, when are you going to change your name to Small Arms Danny? And then, like, the first time we, like, did video skits while I was in the office, like, that was painful for him, but it was good. It was funny. It was great. It was exactly what we wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because he plays the awkward guy so well.
He's still awkward on camera. He's really dialed in his Instagram story. Shout out Danny. Danny's not here. He's under weather, but shout out. He's dialed in the Instagram story.
Yeah.
He's a great Instagram story guy. So if you follow Small Arms account,
funny.
he posts some great Instagram stories. He's good on the podcast, but every once in a while we get him on the actual skit videos.
Yeah.
He's still like
just awkward enough.
Just as awkward. Yeah.
He's figuring it out.
Yeah. Trey, talk about the transition from you, like being on, you know, from behind the camera, on the camera a lot. You know, obviously talking about deep stuff on the podcast, fun stuff. Like, you're just such a quiet dude.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like I can resonate like a lot more like with Rachel or like AG because like I'm definitely like way more a quiet person, and like too, like, as well as that, like I feel like I've gotten better where when stuff's thrown at me, I know I know how to operate where it just needs to get done, like in a work capacity.
Sure.
But I still like process stuff like that though. So like if someone like says something and it catches me off guard, I still like I seem like I feel myself going through that, like where I need to like process it. I need to like think about it.
Yeah.
Because like you said, then like when it catches you off guard, then like you might react one way. And
but not even mean that.
But not even mean that. Yeah. But like that's how but I can relate though, because that's how my brain works though. Because I'm still like working on getting better at all that kind of shit too as well.
So
I've gotten like so much better though.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I
like,
knew
just
that.
The podcast
I knew
alone.
that about you a little bit too, and so that was one of the situations, without giving a bunch of details, that I went through with AG the other night, where I saw him processing it, and he reacted a way that looked more negative than probably he intended.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to then say, look, man, like, you have to process stuff, and even if you know you're not going to do it, like somebody asks him something, he's not going to go do something. It's like you say, get me the details, and then you process it later, but don't give him that reaction like you're not interested. That's what I was trying to explain to him. And then Rachel was like, yeah. She goes, and people will take us the wrong way because of that. Exactly. So you might give him a shitty look because you're like, you know, and so I've never operated that way naturally.
Yeah.
So then
that's how I am naturally though. So that's like definitely something that I've experienced like literally like my whole life though.
Yeah.
But definitely though, like since being in this environment though, like the podcast alone has helped a shit ton. Like just
it's reps.
Yeah. It's like you said, it's just the reps.
Yeah. Reps, confidence, and then knowing like, well, and I also what Rachel tried to tell me, she's like, he still needs taught this, Corey. I expected him to already know that. And so not only the pressure of like me probably obviously sitting there and him supposed to say the right thing, he didn't even know what and so that's where I was like, all right, I'm trying not to be a dick, but like that was kind of embarrassing. So like, how do we fix this? Yeah. And he was like, yeah, it wasn't it was unintended, but so anyway, it was like one of these like really good like dad moments where I could be like, all right, but your mom's gonna have to explain it to you because that's how she is. But I knew you were kind of a little bit like that too, so that's I'm sure a lot of people are.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to have everything fucking.
Yeah, but like you said though, like I think like to that point though, like the awareness factor of that though is like a big portion of it, because like I know like I'm aware of that now. So like now like moving forward when I like talk to people and stuff like that, like I know like. You know what I mean? Like, I know, like, if it catches me off guard, then I know not to, like...
You can kind of fake it for a second to, like, get to it, to process it.
Yeah,
that was kind of my point.
Yeah. You gotta, like, fake it for, like, 5 seconds, process it.
So you don't look like a dick.
Then I have an answer.
That's just a strategy, though.
It's a strategy, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all part of communication.
I think, exactly. But I think this is really good tips because I think a lot of people can probably identify with that, Trey.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
In that awareness is, like, if you go back all the way to the things I talk about all the time with the Andrew Carnegie book, attractive personality is one of the main keys of how people are successful. Yeah. Doesn't mean you got to be the most likable person, but the awareness of these little cues are what turn people off. And so if you do some of these things well, or didn't do them as well before, but now do them well, you will get further in deals, in situations. People want to they want to help people that they feel like want to be there or want to be, even though it was unintentional. Yeah. So I just think that's interesting. Sure. It's good growth, dude. Reps.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good, Tyler.
You mentioned from a parenthood perspective, it's something I think about nearly every day now.
Yeah, Daddy Tyler.
Yeah, trying to remain patient because, like you said, there's certain things that we experienced throughout our life that not only we were forced to go through, but also
we wouldn't have chose.
Right, but also over time helped shape our character.
No question.
And maybe in like a more hardened way. So then when if you want to say come correct and you come to a situation that we sort of have this base level understanding that we want everyone to already have this understanding.
They don't.
And we have that expectation of this should be an unspoken understanding and you should come to the table this way and have that understanding.
That's how I felt.
So I have to keep reminding myself because, I mean, I'm in parenthood now, right? So my kid's only 15 months old, and I'm like, he barely has this many words yet, let alone the psychology and the interaction and immersing themselves.
But think about just the support already.
Right.
As you as a dad and her as a mom, it's already different than your life.
Oh, absolutely. Different.
Not even add the financial, add the understanding. Like, it's never going to be even close to the same time.
Right.
You're going to have all the same challenges all of us do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Which opens up a whole nother conversation of, like, so how do you try to offer enough of a dynamic that's going to challenge them and isn't going to pad the life? But then also when it comes to the psychological aspect and the growth and development mentally and communication amongst other people, it's like, how do you offer the right balance of all of those things, the patience, but the understanding and the teaching and the learning and things that will serve them.
And I'm a psycho, so like I got to be like, all right.
Yeah. Let me walk this back a little
bit. Yeah, no, exactly. And that's what I was like, okay. But Rachel actually helped a ton, and that's like our communication over all these years, understanding each other more. And I think that helps me understand my kids because I've been dealing with her. And then when she sees the parts of me, she knows where it's coming from too. So she's like, because Alex is an interesting dynamic because he also has the obsessive gene like I do. So that's why he could do the Rubik's Cube in a fucking minute, and he could do the stock trading. And so, like, pitching is another great example. He gets in the weeds, and he immerses himself, and he figures it out, which is why I think whatever he does, he'll be real successful in because he has that part. So she knows, though, when he's in that, it's just in it. And, like, you can't tell him nothing. Like, he's just in it at that. And so it's interesting because then I'll tell her, like, yo, that's not, like, something you can really stop. You know, like if I'm obsessed with something, I'm just like, that focused or whatever. So it's interesting if you have that communication, and that most recently as they got older is a lot with us. But yeah, it's hard not to be like, you expect them to already know what you know, but they don't even know close to what you know. So that's like that, that's a tough. Parenting's tough, dude.
It is. It's a constant battle. It's like I picture it as the ocean. Like it's, you might have some more rough times, you might have some more calm times, but it's constantly in motion. Yeah. Like if you're out there on a boat, you're never not moving, at least a little bit. It's a constant balance.
Well, what I try to do too is like, because I think my relationship with my kids is a lot different than my dad was. I can go, all right, I'm pissed at you. All right, I understand why you reacted that way. And then I can go back and say, and I literally what I said, look, dude, I'm not trying to be a fucking dick. I'm just trying to be better than my dad. And I don't think he would have taught me that. So, and he's like, yeah, I get it, Dad. You know what I mean? So then I can just shoot him straight as a adult, basically. And so then there's so I think like that change has been awesome because I never had that. You know what I mean? And so that's something I would recommend as you get older, because like you don't get everything right. And I've even said like, I'm this way because of these things that happened to me. And so I'm not saying like when I fly off the handle, that's like awesome. I'm just telling you that it probably hit a button of why I want our shit to be different. And so like if you can communicate that, good, bad, or indifferent, I think it helps.
Absolutely.
Because I remember AG asked me one time, like he didn't realize like I had like anger problems. Like I used to be fucking mean.
Sure.
Like, and I started getting fights when I was younger, and I fly off the fucking handle, and it's still there. Kyle's seen it before. Shout out Kyle.
Yeah.
I tried to karate chop the fucking desk one day at old school before I fired him.
That was great.
Yeah, so it's there, which I'm able to channel through lifting. So I've been able to, but he's seen it a couple times. He's like, I just didn't know that you dealt with that. I'm like, dude, I was angry about my life. So I had to channel into something that could make me better. You know what I mean? I know you got some fucking build-up craziness too.
Yeah,
Trey.
I used to like punch walls.
Exactly.
Like,
I was the same. I did the same shit, and I still have done that. I'm real proud of it, but it happens sometimes. Like sometimes it just looks like a blinking light that just needs punched, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Literally.
And that's when I go like this. Boom! It just lets it all out, and I don't know, but I think the squats and that do that for me, and have my whole life, so I've been able to control it. But it's still there, so it was hard for him to hear. Wait, that's like was an issue. I'm like, yeah, dude. Like I was like aggressively mad at my entire situation. Why do you think I got successful? Because I channeled it. So it's like, you know, but he's not going to have that, so it's hard for him to identify. But every kid, no matter how good we try, they all going to have their own issues. I'm just trying to have a little less issue than we have.
Right. No, for sure. No, full respect. Full respect. And to your mention of what you were just describing and the differences of, you know, you feel a certain way because you went through this, but because others haven't gone through that. So number one, they're not going to identify, but they don't have the same emotion tied to that and understand why it's reached the height that it has and how it relates to the current situation. So it's just, it becomes a lot to extrapolate and break down and say, you know, maybe this is what was going on and here's how I viewed that. You may not understand why I don't agree with this and why it needs to be stopped and or steered in the right direction from here. But it's definitely a challenge to try to communicate those things and help them understand where your emotion comes from, where it's at. Maybe they're here and we're here, and how can we bridge that gap and try to get it to where we're on a common understanding, even if we operate differently.
But understanding that it can never feel the same. It's just impossible. It's virtually impossible. Nobody at this table's kids are going to feel the same that we felt. It's impossible.
And for a lot of good reasons. But
correct.
Like you said, I mean, but there's a lot of good things that had come from how you guided your life from there.
For sure.
Because really, when you break it all down, we get down to brass tacks, it's like one of two choices. And one choice could have been a heck of a lot different from where
everybody got the why, bro. You got the why. You're absolutely. Like, do I go this way and keep smoking bowls? And like, you know, or do I go this way?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, full respect.
Shout out to smoking bowls. What do you think, Cole? You just taking it?
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, this is like some real shit.
It is some real shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a lot of. It really is a lot of self-awareness. I would say all of us here are. Everyone here is super self-aware of who they are, what triggers them, what doesn't trigger them, what like they fucking care about, what they don't care about, like all of it. How they operate, how they don't want to operate. Everyone's pretty super spot on about that. Like you can pretty much tell.
I think also like having a lot of dialogue in ways like this helps.
Yeah.
Because you get to learn so much more about people. Like think about from just the Roundtable version 1 first episode all the way to now, how much we've learned about each other. Even just the amount Tyler's been on. You know what I mean? So like to have pinpointed conversations forced every week, forced in a good way, but that's still what it is. Like to have like real conversations with people you work with, there's no way you wouldn't have a deeper understanding. Like I would argue that like it's one of the best team building things you probably could ever do.
Facts.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
Right.
I would say, yeah.
On accident, but on purpose.
Because then you really know at the deepest level how everyone operates, so you can basically make better decisions and do better things,
work better
cohesively.
Knowing how everyone operates.
Absolutely.
But then we know how good like we operate as a team, and then trying to work with other teams who aren't at the same level, extremely
it requires a lot of nuance, right?
Tyler's smiling.
That kind of goes back to like the whole communication thing. Is like, how can we properly tell you we want this fucking shit done right now because we've been on it, we've been ready, we know we're our A game's on. How do you properly convey that to where it's like, listen, I just want you to like catch up to speed a little bit, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my challenge.
So I got a story, kind of similar. So, when I go lunge at the track, in my Instagram story. Yeah. So I said something to that guy.
Oh, you did? Amazing.
Yeah. So I basically just told him like, stop being a pussy. Like.
Yeah. What'd he say?
Stop scrolling. So this is where it gets good. I hope he's listening, so he has this realization.
This is solid.
So yeah, I walked up to him and I was basically like, yo, like, quit scrolling on your phone. I don't know what the hell you're doing. Instagram, Twitter, you're taking 10 steps in between every single rep. Like, I was like, if you're gonna do, because the first question I asked was like, hey, are you doing Corey G Fitness? He's like, yeah, and I was like, all right, well, like, if you want the results, then like you need to be about it. Like, you got to do the shit.
I fuck with that
because. Like I said this, I was like, the thing is
if I saw him doing that same shit, I would say.
Yeah, I was like, here's the thing. I was like, Corey gets all these messages. There's all these blog questions saying shit doesn't work. I'm like, the only people the shit doesn't work for is the people that don't actually do it.
Yeah, that's doing what he's doing.
Exactly. And so I just like set him straight. And yeah, I mean, the dude literally just like looked at me, like laughed in my face because like I just like said it to him like straight ass face. Like I was pissed because I just got done lunging. I see him all the time, and it's like motivating to me.
Sure.
So like I just had like straight ass face, like said it to him in like a pissy way. So like he didn't like take it serious. I know he didn't take it serious. He just like had like a smile on his face.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna be really fucking about it, then you need to really actually be about it.
Yeah.
And like. I just, like, back to, like, the team, like, thing, like, I just know, like, if someone's going to lunge, then then I just know what they're representing.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want that to
be our representation.
It was like disrespectful for basically everything.
Of course.
I felt like it was disrespectful, yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
When the quicker he comes to that realization and accepts what you said instead of letting the ego laugh at it and just smile at you and try to process it that way, the quicker he's going to get results. So you're helping.
That's what I was.
Yeah,
that's my whole point. Yeah.
But also think about what I like about that is but that's also the mentality of the gym too, Trey. Not only our work environment is that if somebody's not doing something right, that's bringing the team down a level instead of you're saying, hey man, if you're kind of like loosely on our team, you're on the app, then you need to be all the way up to speed. This is what it is. Exactly. I'm one of the motherfuckers there every day. Yeah. So if you ain't going to take that serious from me, then you ain't really about it. So it's like I fuck with that because at the end of the day, as the group, no matter whether it's an immediate group or the internet group gets better, then everyone gets better.
Everyone gets better.
Yeah, so I fuck with that.
Yeah. And there's like you just know that if you see someone like lunging or whatever, or doing the workouts, whatever, you know like they're fucking about it.
Yeah.
Like you know,
or they're trying to be.
You know like their work ethic and like what they are trying to push is probably they're trying to get the same level as everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He knows you're one of the main guys, don't he, Trey?
I don't think he knew who it was.
Yeah.
From that description, it doesn't sound.
Then
like
that's
from the conversation. Didn't sound like he knew who I was.
Got it. Well, shout out if you're a Roundtable listener. You know now.
Yeah. I was probably bitching at him. He was listening to the Roundtable.
Yeah. It's fucking funny.
Two choices. They'll get better.
I think so. I think the direct talk shit is like basically kind of a lost thing right now.
I think and I think that's like. But people like need that though. People need to like be set straight. Like sometimes you need to like sit down and just look someone dead ass in the face and like just say something.
But what I've noticed is like there's a lot of people have a lot of problems with that.
With that, yeah.
You know, and I think like growing up, like that's why I would say like when I worked with men when I was a boy, that's how they talked to me. So at 17 or 18 or even 16, like the sawmill, the farm, the mine, the guys talk to you direct, and there's an expectation to act like a man. And I think like that, like understanding, like I couldn't get butthurt because they're like, no, do it this fucking way.
There was no.
And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, you know what I mean? I don't know. So like, and then in the gym, because I'm so serious, I took that on, And then when I didn't do very good in my first meet where the West Side guide helped me, and I asked him how to get better, Tim Harrell looked at me and said, "Get stronger." And I was like, great fucking tip. So it was fucking, and then when I asked him the first time when I was done squatting like 9 sets early because I was like basically like done with the warm up, he said spot. So I think that I started to take these like real direct, because I thought he was going to tell me like, well, you should do your speed work this way. No, like get your shit together, get tougher, get stronger, do your own fucking research, go train. You know, like, so I think like I started taking that approach like, all right, I need to be real direct with people on the expectation. Take the fucking weight. Get back under the fucking bar. Like, because people just don't operate that way anymore. And so, but I notice, and Rachel said this to me, that when I talk to some of the kids, I talk to like a lot of AG's friends that way, especially in the gym, and they've got used to it, but I could tell at first it was weird for them. Like, nah, motherfucker, like, you fucking pull that shit like you mean it. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, you know, that why you get up today, like, I just don't know that that's like normal I think that shit's kind of lost.
No, not normal at all, no.
I think for young men in particular in this day and age, they need more of that.
Yeah,
even if it's
like you said, like it's definitely like an ego thing.
Well, I mean, everyone has it. Everyone
yeah.
has it. But the sooner you admit it and acknowledge it, you can make it your friend.
Oh yeah, my feelings get hurt when people talk direct to me a little bit too. I mean, it's a normal interaction.
Part of it, though.
Yeah,
1000%.
We have a commercial break.
Yeah, we got a commercial break.
yeah.
Kyle's giving me the thing. Yeah,
all right.
Like,
let's go to commercial. We'll be right back.
The Roundtable podcast is brought to you by Max for Muscle. With us is the Director of Sports Performance, Tyler Treadway.
Yo, so I don't know if you're aware, but Max Effort makes products specifically for athletes. We got it tested by NSF to make sure that what we say is in the label is actually in the product. It's tested against 400 ingredients that would make you test positive on any sort of performance review. But we want to make sure that our athletes are taken care of. So if you're a high school athlete, a college athlete, professional athlete, you can hit us up. Make sure that these products get you taken care of. They're going to get you results, and they're safe for you. If you're a coach, player, anything, hit me up, Treadway21, and we'll get you taken care of.
Thank you, Treadway.
And you got the protein NSF certified. Is that what you're
Protein is NSF certified as well as amino recovery.
All right, my guy.
Look at that.
Thank you, Treadway.
Thank you, Treadway. You're looking very small today. All right, let's go back to the show. And we're back. That was a great commercial.
Yeah, thanks. I think we should, if there was an award for like best podcast commercials,
we would win.
We would be up there.
Especially organic.
Quality.
For sure, all organic.
Yeah. No free shout outs, but I mean,
yeah.
Shout out Cole.
Facts.
Hey, all right. So we're going to give some tips on direct talk real quick.
Yeah.
So, Trey, I'm coming to you first because you're talking about you would process stuff a little bit like that, like maybe. So if somebody comes at you direct, like if you were the guy at the track and somebody come at you like that, how would you then respond? Or how would you tell people to respond? You would never not lunge like that though. So or never lunge like that. So, but you know what I mean? I'm trying to tell people, they're listening and they're like, don't fucking act like that. But when somebody says something straight down the pipe to you,
I think you need to realize though that like if someone's even going to like come up to you and say something direct to you, like if anybody is like going to take the time to do something like to you in that manner in the first place, then like I think you need to realize that like they have to care.
Yeah.
They have to care.
There's some reason.
You have to I think like you have to like think more about like where they're coming from, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like
other person's shoes.
Yeah, like for example, like that conversation, like the whole point of that conversation was like I want the dude to get better.
Yeah.
So he's like you gotta like understand like someone's not gonna walk up to you out of ego and just be like, yo, you're trash.
Yeah, of course.
Like some people
do that, but
like that's not something
uncommon,
that's not something that like that people do though. Like someone I feel like, especially like when it comes to like any like type of work, whether it's like business work or working out work, like someone's not going to take time out of their day to say something direct to you if they don't think that it's like if it's gonna make you it's going to make the situation better. Like that's the whole purpose of the talk, I think.
Yeah, because when I had that kid, I think I told the story, but I'll retell it. I was at the track lunging, and he was running. I don't know if I told you this story. And he was a college kid, and his dad was there with him. He didn't go to Denison. He went to a different college, but they must have been in town or whatever. And so I'm lunging in lane 1, and he's in there. He's warming up or whatever. And, like, I'm on my second lap, and I'm pushing. And he stops me to see if I'll get out of lane 1.
Yeah, it's annoying.
And I laugh at him and go, no. So then I finish lunging. He obviously runs around me, not very happy. And I ask his dad after, because he's running or whatever. I go, what's your kid studying in college? Oh, he wants to be in sports and fitness management or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Go holler at him when he comes back around. So he's done. I'm like, hey, man, I was talking to your dad. You know, I'm in the industry. Blah, blah, blah. The kid was, like, super arrogant, which was first part. And he goes, oh, yeah. I was like, yeah, I've been running a business in for, like, 20 years. I'm like, you know, we're kind of chit-chatting. And I said, have you ever seen anybody do, like, what I was doing? And he's like, no, I've never seen it. I was like, yeah, I was working pretty hard. He's like, yeah, I saw that. I was like, don't ever fucking come up to somebody that's working that hard and ask him the fucking move so you can do your workout. Are you fucking kidding me? I was here first. I'm like, bro, I've been out here doing this for a long time at a real successful level. Like, that's like some shit you just don't do. So take it from, like, an old school dude. Like, I would never fucking do that to an older cat working like that hard. And you're not even, this ain't even your fucking track. Yeah. I'm here every fucking day. Like, I like gave him some game real quick, and he kind of looked at me like, basically like, fuck off. And I walked over to his dad. I'm like, yeah, I just schooled your kid a little bit. Like, I think you probably learned a couple things. But you probably didn't. But the reality was, it was like, you know, when I started talking to him like that, as a grown man, and when his old man was standing there, which I was probably the same age as, but his dad was, like, out of shape and not, like, into it. It was fucking hilarious. Like, it was hilarious for me, but he was so fucking, like, awkward, but very arrogant to it. Like, fuck, you should have got out of my way. Yeah. Motherfucker, fuck you.
But the whole point of that conversation, though, was to, like,
to make him better, like, in the industry. Like, you can't operate like that.
Exactly.
Instead of what he should have done is said, what do you run again? What kind of business? Like, instead of flipping and going, wait a second, I could get value from this dude because he went out of his way to make me check me a little bit. Like, I wasn't about to fight the kid, but I was direct with him, like, because that was wrong. And so it's like, it was funny because it was the same kind of interaction, and he kind of just laughed it off instead of being like, he could have flipped it like, you know what? You're right. Even if he didn't think that. What do you do again? Yeah. You obviously cared enough to come over, and that's the hard part where he couldn't switch it because he's young. But, like, and I don't know that I could have either if I was doing something. But, I mean, that's the talking point I was trying to get across, but you hit too. So, but it reminded me of my, I mean, I'm like at 600 meters, sweating my ass off, doing like a really good time, and he's asking me to get out of the fucking lane.
Yeah, come on.
I'm glad you talked to him.
Oh, there! I was like, I looked. I literally started laughing.
And I'm sure the 800-meter lunges was a way harder workout.
Come on, of course, of course it is.
That's good.
So, anything else? Cool.
Nah. So I was thinking, all right, so you're talking like giving direct talk. What about if someone tries to direct talk you?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is so like that. Well, so what I've done is I've gotten older, attempt to first go, why are they, you know, like Trey said. But but that took me a while. That's kind of why I think it's a good target. That's like a maturity thing.
Yeah.
Because then I have to weigh like, all right, because Rachel will try to do that to me sometimes, and then I'll flip it on her. Hey, and I'll flip it on her and go, do you ever think that sometimes you're not right?
Yeah.
You know what she said? I think I've been wrong twice. I said, I think you're fucking wrong right now.
Yeah, there you go.
So, but no, I'll try to, because obviously when you're an alpha entrepreneur, you're going to think a lot of your shit's right. As I got older, you guys see me ask you guys stuff that I don't know all the time. Like, what is your, like, give me your feet. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I've gotten better at that a lot. But, you know, if it's in my wheelhouse, that person better have some real shit behind their name if they're coming at me like that. Unless it's like something I'm extremely unaware of and they can shed light on, then I'm probably going to catch it. Yeah. Or if I don't catch it in that moment, I'll rethink about it later. But I do try at least my best to process it. But if I know it's bullshit, then I'll laugh at it.
Yeah.
So I'll laugh at it after I can process it because my processor is pretty fast. So I'll go like, nah, that's fucking bullshit. And then, and you know, so it just depends.
Process it that way.
Yeah. But most of the time, I'll probably fake it, even if I don't like it, process it, and think if it's real or not. And then if I know the person, I'll come back and say thanks or no thanks.
For sure.
You know what I mean? But I'll try my best not to process it in a mean way initially unless I really know it's like out of left field.
Yeah.
I haven't had that a whole bunch. I think people are more scared of me sometimes than I think. And I don't even realize that about myself.
Yeah.
Just so jacked and tan. And
I don't know. I think maybe it's because of how serious I am.
Yeah,
As I
true.
get older, I think people are catching more of that. Even though I feel like I'm a nice person, but I think my seriousness is starting. Or the gym stuff, maybe there's a different perception of how I am because they see that crazy shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that about as I got older. So, no.
That's good. I think it was a good episode.
Yeah, it
A
was
lot of
good.
good stuff broken down.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another tip on direct talk, Peaky Blinders, right?
Fucking love
So
Peaky Blinders.
Tommy Shelby, like I don't know if you've picked up on this, but anytime someone questions him, this is my favorite thing. He'll let them talk. He'll just stare at them, and then he'll usually just tell them to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, in the show, his like younger brother presents him an entire plan. Like he did this 30-page plan to take over the business to where he takes a silent role because he's getting too outlandish. He presents it to him. He's like, I think this could be really good for the business. Blah blah blah. Presents it to him. He just stares at him, takes it, throws it in the fire, and that was it. It was like end the conversation.
Yeah.
We're done with it now. Yeah, it was amazing. I'm like, yeah, this is fucking awesome.
That's a great way to end it. That is true. When I saw that, it was like he spent all this time, but he was like, not fucking happen.
Yeah.
Let them know.
Yeah.
All right, Roundtable Podcast. I'm your boy Corey G. What up? At Small Arms Danny. We had Sealover in, which did a great job. At Trey Speedin, the graphic gangster himself, Cole Susak. We are